She's riveted still.
There she is. There she is.
There is a fifth dimension beyond that, which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
Hello and welcome to Indefinite Lunch and Infinite Combinations number 146. We're exploring all of the Twilight Zone. And today we're taking a closer look at the episodes The Big Tall Wish and A Nice Place to Visit. And I'd like to welcome my panel who has chosen to talk about the Twilight Zone today with me. Hello to Jedi Master 2022. How are you?
Outstanding. Great to see y'all.
Fantastic. Yeah. How about you, Scotty R37?
Well, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. Different rewatch, though.
Oh, yeah. I don't know that that'll ever happen on this channel, but Stay tuned to Scotty R37's channel.
No, we're going to do Mr. Belvedere first.
Oh, okay. Old Man Bird, hello. He said, enticing thumbnail. I may be forced to watch this stream. I hope it wouldn't be something you have to force yourself to do. Hope you enjoy it. Maybe we can. Maybe we can't change your mind on Twilight Zone as a whole, but maybe you might like a few of them. And hello to DJ Knight. And my overeager Jill Notes bot posting way too many links. I didn't notice that. And hello to Watcher X. Watcher X, I'm so glad you're here. And of course,
hello to all
Jedi
and
Master
greetings.
2022. So the first episode, of course, encourages you to remember the value of being able to dream, which is something we lose sometimes after we grow up, and along with our imagination. And the second zeroes in on a message similar to the one we see in Amok Time. Tell me if you can figure out which message that is.
I'll let you know when we get to that episode, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. Yes, so let's start off with The Big Tall Wish. And let's bring those slides a little bigger.
And it's an exact anniversary.
An exact anniversary?
April 8th.
Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, right. The Big Tall Wish aired on April 8th, 1960. It was directed by Ron Winston and written by Rod Serling, with music by Jerry Goldsmith.
Yay.
And yeah, yay. So
Jerry Goldsmith, who famously did the music for Aliens.
Oh, Jerry Goldsmith's done so many things, amongst hundreds of things. Not the least of which are lots of Star Trek things.
Yes.
Greek letters, Lars. Yay! We're jumping over
Greek letters. Yes.
This is my. Oh, right. That's right. You speak Greek too, so you guys could talk. This is my favorite show, because Twilight Zone resembles my actual life. Lucky me. Oh, no.
I didn't know you were colorblind.
Well, he was afraid. He when he watches the show, he's afraid he's going colorblind. So it's a good thing for him that Jedi Master is here, so he could see that color does still indeed exist.
Yeah, I'm always try to stay colorful.
So, okay. So how do you want to divvy up the opening narration? Who wants to do which episode?
Scotty, you go first.
I'll go first.
Okay, so let me put that in the private
I
chat
heard
there.
I heard it in a dream. Someone made a wish.
A little
Subliminal
boy.
message
little
in
voice.
your mind.
Oh, and also big shout out to Stone Racket, who couldn't be with us here today. He is a
Yes.
Twilight Zoner.
Yes, he
has
is.
the ability of Twilight zoning, and so we wish him well in his eventual return.
Yes. All right, so we've got an opening narration for the Big Tall Wish.
So should I do? I should do both because I know that there is a little bit of a break. But should I just plow through both?
There's no break. Is there a break?
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead.
All right. In this corner of the universe, a prize fighter named Boley Jackson, 183 pounds, and an hour and a half away from the comeback at St. Nick's Arena, Mr. Boley Jackson, who, by the standards of his profession, is an aging over-the-hill relic of what was, and who now sees a reflection of a man who has left too many pieces of his youth in too many stadiums for too many years before too many screaming people. Mr. Boley Jackson, who might do well to look for some gentle magic in the hard-surfaced glass that stares back at him.
It's not Bully. That's somebody taking a nap on the stairs.
Yes, as you do at night.
Yes. There he is. There's Bully.
There's Boley.
Yeah.
On a private note, he looks like the guy that was in Hogan's Heroes.
He was the guy that was in Hogan's Heroes.
With the leather, he used to wear the the OD green jacket, olive drab field jacket. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to throw that tidbit out there.
Well, no, you're right. Can you hear me? He is.
Yes.
He is the guy from Hogan's Heroes. So it's good that you mentioned that. He was the original person they cast for this role was Archie Moore, who was actually a real champion boxer, but they had to recast because he couldn't keep up the pace acting wise, and so they went with Ivan Dixon. So he is best known as a regular on Hogan's Heroes and very very talented according to Mark Scott Zickery. And according to this episode, he is very talented. And
Jill.
yeah, yes.
Are we lacking a poll? DJ Knight in the chat requests.
Oh, DJ Knight is
No
correct.
poll.
DJ Knight is correct. There is no poll
Yet.
and there's also, and then of course we also see Henry, played by Stephen Perry. And I will put up another poll here.
He's a good little actor, that kid. He was so good in this.
Yes.
He was. I was
Agreed.
curious if he went on to do more. But what he shows here, not that I didn't do any research. I just watched the episodes.
Well, we can do it now. We don't have we have time.
All right. Well, let's take a look. Let's go to the clock.
Which do you like? Which episode do you like more? That's a tough question because these are both really great.
They're really tough to decide which is better. I'd say it's a push.
There's
I personally like this one better, but that's also because I'd seen the other one, and so it had kind of been spoiled for me.
I think everybody knows the story of the second one, but I think there's a deeper meaning to it that it makes it okay that everybody knows the twist to it going into it.
No, it doesn't look like Stephen. Well, Stephen Perry was in A Raisin in the Sun, The Sound and the Fury. But as it goes on, it says things like Jake and the Fat Man. You know, that's fine. Parent Trap, Hawaiian Honeymoon, Magnum PI. So he was a working actor.
Yeah, I think what happens is that some people just, when they're child actors, that's what they are. And then when they grow up, they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. And they go do something else.
Which respectable.
Mm-hmm. I don't recall the story. When I go vote, I go by the title. Oh, that's Greek letter. That's what Greek letters Larson does. That's funny. Well, there you go. Now you can do that. So of course the notable thing about this story is that we've got all the main characters are black, and that was of course Rod Serling's decision. That's not remarkable today, but it was definitely remarkable in 1960, and that is especially well, when the subject matter had nothing to do with race, which was great.
Well, and I think that this is interesting because it is a story that can be applied to all, but also it can be applied to
It's
race
relatable.
relations as well. Just in terms of, you're going to go out in the world, kid, and you're going to be pushed down because of the color of your skin. And
But
it's
they
like,
didn't say that in this entire
No.
episode, though.
But you could infer that based on the storytelling, which is a great sort of moral or warning from a community, from the Black community, but also as a wider audience, it is about sort of losing faith in dreams as you grow older.
Yes,
But
it's extremely relatable to anybody. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
No, but boxers back then, I mean, there's a really truth to be told. And I'm not saying I was a good fighter, but I boxed in the Elks and stuff
boxed?
up until when I was younger. My father, because I'm not a big guy. I'm 5'8" and I'm not tall. So I was kind of little when I was in school and I wanted to play football and stuff. And kids kind of were bigger than me and pushed me. But my father had me in boxing until I popped the kid. But anyways, going back to about what this is about, is boxers back then were treated by their promoters and like meat. Back then, they weren't getting the big paydays that these fighters get now. These guys worked for peanuts back then, and they cheated. And there's a lot of parallel. I find a lot of things about Mick, the manager, and his story about the abuse. Look at his face on how Mickey, when he was telling Rocky he wanted to be his manager to protect him from getting beaten, scarred, and tortured. I saw a little analogy there when I was watching this episode that led me to that kind of moment in Rocky, to this movie, to this episode. I don't know if you all remember the original Rocky when Mickey was saying, "You need a manager, Rock," you know?
Right.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I got that analogy myself when I was, through that.
I felt like the scars on him excessive? There's just so many, and
they looked like a bit much. It looked like they really cheated a lot. They, I mean, to be cut that way, I've seen a lot of fighters beat up. I mean, but I've not that many scars.
But it's also,
they could have gotten away with just like one great big one, and that would be good enough.
But
I like the way that it is. Don't forget, like we get to look at this through the crystal clarity of high definition. And back then, when people were watching on black and white sets, and they were, you needed to adjust the rabbit ears to get better reception and stuff. You had to sort of up the ante on the makeup to make sure it was visible to the audiences at home, especially considering that he does have the monologue saying, "See this scar, see this one, this is because of this, and this is what happened with that." And so you do have to sort of pronounce it a bit more for broadcast television in 1960. But I think it works, and I think that the makeup is great. Also,
very good point.
When they show him in like the opening, and they show like his broad shoulders from the back and his musculature and everything like that, it isn't until they cut away after the opening sort of setup that they started, like, the makeup is still there, but the graying in his temples is a little bit more pronounced. And so to create the hero shot, it looks like they do more of a hero shot, and then to emphasize the age of the boxer, they do age him up a little bit more after the opening sort of tease.
And he says he doesn't need scrapbooks because every scar he has is from a different fight, and so he remembers each and every one that he gets. But he knows that he's aging out of the profession, so there's like you said, they're showing his age. Arms heavy, legs like rubber, short of wind, one eye almost gone. But Henry tells him he's gonna make a big tall wish for Bully. And that is what we hear. And then we meet his mother downstairs, Frances. But even though Bully isn't Henry's dad, he basically acts like one for him. He takes him to games, sports games and walks, and the kid really appreciates all of this. And the big tall wish isn't just for Bully to win the match, but also to not get hurt, to not feel pain, because of course he's had enough of it. Look at him. It's clear that the kid's trying to will goodness from a wish. So there's a couple of things the story does to make it a little more powerful. First, Bully says that Henry sounds like a little old man when he calls Bully his close friend. Then Henry's mom, Frances, says that Henry made a big tall wish for her to get $15 for rent when she needed it. And she got it from one of her clients that owed her some money.
Does he have powers?
Does he have the power to wish for good?
Well, it's kind of like I've been watching some supernatural channels, and it's like when toddlers and babies are like, "Who's that man over there?" And it's like you can't
they can see the ghost,
and they can see the ghosts, quote unquote. And it's like, yeah, maybe it is and the closing narration sort of speaks to that a little bit.
Yes, Bully is lamenting. He doesn't believe it. Bully is lamenting the day when Henry realizes that there isn't any magic, and how hard the world really is.
And I think that it does apply to Bully's demographic, if you will.
Well, yes, it's the different perspectives on life and how they change, how your different perspectives change your reality, the reality that you live, how you see the world.
Oh, he's been beaten so many times, and and it's like he not that he's lost faith. He just understands that he's aging and all that stuff, the dreaming and the wishing. He just, at his age, he's like almost, another analogy, Polar Express. You stop believing in Santa, you don't hear the bell ring. I guess he lost his youth and his, gotten beaten out of him over the years, in my opinion.
Yes, but even still, he's got the support of his neighborhood along with Henry. And everybody wishes him good luck.
I wonder where this backlot was. This is like, I love the sets. It reminds me, I forget, I have to go and check, but there's a boxing movie with Robert Ryan, and it's sort of the same idea. I forget the name of the movie though. And
yes, buddy.
Oh, it would have been like 58 or something. I'll look. But I've got it on DVD. I got it just because it was cited by Martin Scorsese as being one of the influences on his cinematography for Raging Bull. Yeah, and
I love that movie.
And the thing is that the Robert Ryan movie, I saw Raging Bull for the first time recently, and the only thing I didn't like is that De Niro's character is just wholly unlikable. And in the Robert Ryan one, he was much more sympathetic. But it's the same sort of over the hill actor or over the hill fighter who was doing his best to overcome what everybody said. And he's been asked to take a fall, and he's like, what if I win? And it's like, it's called The Setup. And it's
Right.
really,
And that's
really,
what a lot of boxers have to deal with is playing that kind of game where they play the numbers rather than doing the best they absolutely can.
and that's what I think Slimy Jackson here is doing.
Yes, Thomas is a jerk, so he's
He's
not trying to help Bully win at all. Claiming he doesn't know the opponent, but he's lying. So he's lying to him, and he's not actually trying to help him. Even worse, he's betting on the other guy.
Well, and that's the kind of that in these, like, and I think that this is sort of indicative of the era of like, you know, wrestling was still happening, boxing was happening to a lesser degree, stand-up comedy was just sort of emerging in the States, and there was no, you know, you wouldn't televise, there's no HBO, there's no ESPN, there's nothing that would really promote these other than people actually being fans of it and going to the events themselves. And so, and that also has a hand in the gambling aspect in the sports. And so if you wanted to go, you would you'd go, you'd show up and then say, yeah, I'll take not the old guy. Matt G.
Yeah, Swift -1 is here. Hello, Matt G.
Hey, Swift.
And Penny.
Penny.
Penny, she's busy with the grandkids. Nice.
Well, I'm sure that they're making big, tall wishes.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. So Bully is naturally upset with the betrayal of Thomas. You know, he's not a very good manager, and so he's trying to punch Thomas. Unfortunately, he misses and hits the wall instead, hurting 4 of his knuckles, breaking them, we find later.
He's a shitty promoter, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. And then his coach is the only one. He's the only one here in the locker room because his whole neighborhood supports him. But in this locker room, in this arena, his only friend here is Joe. Just having one person on your side it makes a difference, though.
He's been in other things. I forget this. I've seen him in other things. This actor that plays the manager. This guy. Is there anything that
this
you've
is the
seen
manager?
him?
Okay.
This is trainer. The other guy's
trainer.
the promoter.
Yes. Yeah. The other guy's a promoter. Okay, so yeah, I mix up the words because I'm not a boxer, so I gotta.
No worries. Yeah. I mean, you know, it is. It's good to have
trainer. The
jock here.
The in-universe name is Joe, and he's played by Walter Burke. Mm-hmm. And hello in the chat too, Gavin Blackburn.
Hey, Gavin.
Oh, and he says neither. Oh yeah, please read it.
Gavin says neither of these 2 episodes reaches the high watermark set elsewhere in this series. A nice place to visit is very predictable. I don't know. I see, and I couldn't unsee it when I saw it. But we'll get to a nice
predictability is one thing, and it's possible that the predictability of it was not the point of the episode, also, which is what I'm going to contend. Who's messing with the transporter? You're messing with the multi-million-dollar machine. It just that sound plays anytime somebody new enters the chat. Greek letters Larson. It helps me know that there's somebody to say hello to, even if I'm not looking directly at the chat. It's helpful for me.
He appeared in 22 more movies, Walter Burke. He was in 20. One of them was All the King's Men, Oscar-winning film, All the King's Men.
All the King's Men,
appeared
wow.
in 20 more films, 3 Broadway productions, and he did, of course, his television work.
He reminds me of sort of a Willem Dafoe doppelganger.
Yes. Thank you. I was thinking it was like,
like I just that's the vibe I got off of him, and I liked it. I liked him immediately. Also, this is some brilliant direction after he breaks his knuckles, and then every shot during the fight and everything that you see from the reaction shots. everything has a high focus on hands. And I like that. Throwing hands in boxing matches, like that's great. But it's like people are, eating popcorn, but it's never on people's faces. It's all about what they're doing with and I like it because not only is it sort of accentuating what just happened to Bowley's fist, but also that what are they doing in the ring? They're punching.
So many ladies are horrified by this match, I guess. Even though, they're paying a lot of money for these tickets. Earlier, there was a poster that said $12, or it was around $12. And given inflation, that's $130 tickets.
Today, you wouldn't get into a boxing match near ringside for under $4 or $5K. That's if you're lucky. For some of those Mayweather fights and that Tyson fight with the stunt fights that they've been throwing, I don't see boxing is totally like since Marvin Hagler stopped fighting, I stopped watching.
Wow, it's gotten crazy. Wow. Well, I guess people who go really, really love it. They have to.
I used to love boxing when it was good, but now it's crap.
Well, but it's also it's such a, and again because of the level of promotion and the amount of money that's put into it.
It's
the question is the validity of the outcome.
The judges. Okay. Anyways, I'm straight away.
People no, you're okay. You're okay. Just, I enjoy these close-ups too. It's really interesting. Mark Scott Zickery likes it because one of the problems you have to deal with is how do you make it look like it's a crowded arena when you don't have that many people to fill up as extras. And so that's where the close-ups come in.
Well, and also I was curious if it was a situation of how much violence you'd be able to show, like in terms of the boxing match, and how difficult it is to sort of to film that. So,
yeah,
yes,
I liked the stylistic choice. Should I find the button, or are you finding the button?
I found the button. Hello.
Okay.
Booga, booga.
Hello, Booga 414.
Booger.
Yes, of course, because Booger likes to hear you say it too.
Wow, come on. Who doesn't like hearing their name said?
That's true. But yes, good work, John Winston. And, I guess that one guy is just pretending he's in the fight.
I love that old Mike.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, for back then, the cinema, the way you're right, the way they film these, and with the directors and the writers, I wish we had these people nowadays making movies and stuff. They got it. They knew how to do with so little and put out such good stuff. And today they got all the science and technology in the world, and they can't make they struggle to make anything decent nowadays.
Well, and there's
fair enough.
Gorilla. Hey, Gorilla's here.
Gorilla's here. Hey.
Gorilla Censored Thoughts says, yeah.
Boss is on. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that out loud. You want to keep your job, right, Gorilla?
It's a bit graphic.
So Bowley's definitely getting hurt. So I thought, oh, well, the kid's wish didn't even come true. And he goes down for the count. All the way up to 9 as Henry continues to wish.
Where were the Tweety birds going around his head? Oh, I'm sure.
Oh.
What are these, Roger? Little birdies? The script asked for stars. I can do stars. But I think this is so good. Although Henry, you shouldn't be so close to the television screen, especially not a CRT. You're going to get radiation poisoning. But
whenever I got up that close to the screen, they talked about my eyesight, not the radiation.
I'm thinking of the Radiation King from Fallout. But yeah, no, this is. Although, I love it because it starts off, and I'm glad that they sort of dropped out the sound, or if it was just part of the performance and direction, is that the really big wish isn't something that we get to hear. You just get to, it's a silent prayer, if you will. And you can read his lips a little bit, like you can tell when he says Bowley, because I think that's the number one word in the entire script is Bowley, 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 Bowley. But
I think it's pretty clear that, well, he's wishing so much that it feels like essentially praying.
sure. Oh, yeah.
Praying, wishing, or maybe
wishing,
he's using powers.
hoping,
Maybe he
praying.
does have that power.
Either way, I think it's great. And again, with the direction of everything freezing and stopping, and that swap, I think it's good. And I'm glad it wasn't a dissolve. I'm glad it was a cutaway and a cutback. Like I think it's relatively exciting. And I didn't know where this episode was going, speaking to the predictability of the sitch, but I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought he was going to kick ass. I thought Bowley was going to win.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
Like I thought he was gonna just
get up.
Yeah, I thought maybe his knuckles aren't so bad and he's gonna figure this out.
Or he was going to fight through it. And then, yeah. I thought it was going to turn into a careful what you wish for sitch.
Yeah, I thought he was going to wail on him too. I thought it was going to be like a quick knot. He's just going to just clobber the guy. But, that's the twist, the curveball they throw at you.
Well, and it's not just a curveball for the sake of being a curveball. It's a curveball that you do, because I think that one of the things that you get is either a fatal flaw or a virtue that is presented in your protagonist with every Twilight Zone episode. And we do see Bowley's fatal flaw. And it's what brings him down and what could bring Henry down in the future. But
before we get to that part, before we get to where Bowley does that, we're seeing that Henry's wish has had an effect. Instead of Bowley down for the count, it's now the opponent, Joey Consigliaro. Thank you. So Joey's down instead. How did that happen?
And I love that Bowley has that confusion when he's called the winner. And I'm just wondering what Joey, when he gets up and he's like, wait a second, this is not what happened.
I just knocked this dude off his feet.
What am I doing lying down?
Although he doesn't take long to just accept it. Like, okay, you know what? I won. Just roll with it.
Well, when a bunch of people jump up and say, way to go, pal, what are you going to do? No, I didn't. No.
I was on the ground.
But exactly. I was just laying down.
Now
in the locker room. He thought his knuckles were broken, but he's realizing that they don't feel bad at all. And Joe doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't remember it. And according to Joe, Bowley never took a fall. He was on his feet and was legitimately victorious, which is a fight we never get to see, the alternate reality that everyone else remembers. And we don't exactly know why Bowley only knows the truth, like why, and Henry, and why he knows that he didn't do it.
Maybe Joey is the same as the manager or the trainer. Maybe he just was on the receiving end of the alternate reality. Pre-wish.
Yeah, he even says, there's a line. I didn't get all the lines for the episode. He says, maybe you were in a different arena than I was. And that's a nod to the different realities. There are two different realities here. The reality where Bowley fell and the reality where Joey fell. And so we're in the second reality. And so everyone on Bowley Street is so excited for the fight, and that only they got to see what happened. And
but again, I do want to say, like, I do think that there is something to be said about a community having a hero, and in this particular instance, it is the over the hill black guy, our over the hill black guy, and he's on our team, and we won. And so it is that collective, and because it's sports, it's like it's our guy. And so I do think that there's a racial element to the story that isn't necessarily. It's not negative. I'm not saying that it's a perspective that would be harmful.
It's there. I agree.
But it's there. It's underlying.
Depending on the it's how you want to interpret it.
Yeah, it's only because it's the 1960s.
Yeah, but that's important for when it was released, I think.
Mm-hmm. I love here that Henry's caring for rabbits on the roof. That shows how nurturing he is in his personality. And Henry calls him a tiger. And just like he promised him he'll be able to do earlier. And Bully also returned home unhurt, just like Henry promised. However, Bully says he recalls being on his back getting counted out. And I think that Henry wasn't expecting Bully to know this. And so he tries to withdraw a bit. Yeah.
And I think that that's the thing that because Bully's so cemented in dreams don't exist. There's no such thing as magic. The world is going to rough you up and you're going to have to take it. And Henry is like, but that thing that just happened, we're here, aren't we? You're talking to me, aren't you? And so Henry's the only one who knows about it. And Bully is living through it and saying, no, that couldn't possibly have happened. And he's like, all you have to do is believe, and it's true.
Believe. You have to believe.
And that's the power of love. Anyway, but it's like, and I think it's the jaded nature of a Bully. And he's like, no, I won't believe it because that just is impossible. What had to have happened is that I've got knocked down and I got back up again, and nothing's going to keep me down. But I swear I was on my back and nobody says it. If somebody just told him and then you got back up.
The magic was right in front of his face and he's still rejecting it.
Mm-hmm. Because he thinks he's got to stay in his old beaten way, and that's his pattern, and that's his life, and the youth and the dreaming and the wishing, it's just been beaten out of him over the years, and he doesn't, and he rejects, the wish and everything, and he just is content in being the way he is.
Yes, he's been wishing his entire life to no effect, and so he can't believe that it could happen. Henry warns that the magic only works if they both believe in it. And
did you put a ka-ching in your box?
Yeah, so I also know when I get a super chat.
All right.
Old Man Bird
for $9.99. Blessings to all the Jill fans and Jill supporters and Jill panelists. I've never thought to call my panelists Jill panelists. Thank you for the entertainment and friendship. That's what it's about for me, the friendship. Getting to know everyone who decides to spend some time with me, whether I get to know you or not. If I get to know you in the chat or on the panel, that's fantastic. But even if you're just listening and you just like to hear the stories, I'm happy you're here too.
And there's also a super sticker.
Oh yeah, I thought I heard the overlapping sounds. For $9.99, there's a super sticker of a little hippo spinning in a chair.
Yes.
Whee! Okay, so I love spinning in the chair.
If anybody's at work and they are in a desk chair, feel free to spin, just like the hippo.
Miss Sparkles.
Well, this is important because today, April 8th, is for some reason Pygmy Hippo Day. I don't understand why. I guess
for all the hippos who couldn't get on the roller coaster.
Yeah. Yes, Miss Sparkles is here. Correct.
Hey, Miss Sparkles.
It's Jill and the Twilight Zone. Yes, I was feeling a little low, but now I feel a little better. Oh, no, you were feeling low. I'm glad it's improved, and I hope that it just keeps getting better for you today, Miss Sparkles.
If you believe in magic.
You have to believe.
Stop beaming stuff into my office.
Yeah.
Just fucking tribbles are everywhere. I'm just joking.
Yes, they're born pregnant, so
I'm
So-
screwed.
What a time saver.
yeah.
So I assume you're spinning the wheel for a video clip?
Yes, good idea. I'll do that.
Okay. While you're doing that, Booger says, is it a racial thing or a community thing? Could you
There's
tell this-
the entire episode doesn't mention race one single time, which is a very
Right.
important thing to understand.
But it's also a very important thing to understand that while, like, and I make this joke all the time, it's like, oh, it's woke, they're shoving it down your throat. It's not. Being progressive
This
is
is
not
not woke.
woke. It's lecturing that is woke. And this is a thing that it is to argue that it is not a factor in the story is your prerogative. You can interpret a story any way you wish. That's why art is sort of subjective and universal. I absolutely take what you will away from it. But I do think that there is something to that underlying current. And so in answer to the question, is it a racial thing or a community thing? Could you tell the same story with the fighters just being from different cities like Boston, New York? The answer is yes, you could. You absolutely could. And that's what I think Rod Serling does very deftly as a writer, is that he wanted, because he's the showrunner, he wanted this to be presented by a black cast, but he didn't necessarily make it overt, being like, don't you know the white man's going to get you down? Because that's not what the story's about.
There's no undertones of that
none
in
of that
this.
happens here.
Right.
There's no
But it
undertones
could
in
be
this of that.
interpreted if that's a way that if and I think that if you're discussing an era where it was
how?
fighting for civil rights, the era in which it was received, I don't think that that's an unreasonable
Well, you're reaching
interpretation. And
a
I
bit.
think I don't think I am, but I appreciate I think it's there, and I think it's there in a positive light.
It's just the existence of the episode that does it.
Yes.
So the wheel picked a strange one, but I think Eugene Bird will like it.
Great.
Where is it? There it is.
Theorizing that one could travel within his own lifetime. Dr. Sam Beckett stepped into the quantum leap accelerator and vanished. He woke to find himself trapped in the past, facing mirror images that were not his own, driven by an unknown force. To change history for the better. His only guide on this journey is Al, an observer from his own time, who appears in the form of a hologram that only Sam can see and hear. And so Dr. Beckett finds himself leaping from life to life, striving to put right what once went wrong, and hoping each time that his next will be the leap home.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, one day I'm going to re-record that and make it even better. But it's still great. And that's from a podcast that we used to do about that series that we
That's
never
a good
finished.
series.
Hello, everyone. No one cares.
about Grogu. No one cares.
No, that's Kathleen Kennedy's creation.
Hey, Brogu, what's going on? I care.
Oh, I give Brogu a pass on that one. And here is, well, see, because my daughter gave me a Grogu sticker that I put on my keys just because my daughter gave it to me. Anyway, there was a super sticker also. So that's for the super sticker. Thank you so much for supporting the show today, Old Man Bird. Go ahead.
Oh, I got a Grogu shirt. My wife got me one for Christmas. She thinks because I love Star Wars, she got me one of those Grogu,
Oh,
and I don't mind it. You know, it's in my closet. I collect stuff, so yeah. But I'm not going to wear it around.
right.
That stays in the vault.
I got my nieces a Grogu, and they are like, neat. And it has sat at the bottom of their toy box ever since they opened it. They're like, I don't even know what this gremlin is.
Should have got a Furby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got them a Pikachu, and they love it. But a Grogu, no
Pikachu.
dice. Yeah.
Pikachu, Jigglypuff. Yeah, the Pokemon definitely work out.
Brogu says, a shirt with your picture on it I got, and I'm not going to wear it either.
Remember, anger leads to suffering. Come, good food.
There was an echo, I think. There must have been.
Oh, there was echoes. Oh, of course.
It worked with it. It worked with the
echoes.
Quantum Leap one, though. You sounded like Ziggy. It was great. So, but this is the thing. It's Bodhi gets.
There, I'll train myself to be able to mute the screen because I like to have the screen audio. So I'm gonna just have to learn how to mute. But go ahead.
Well,
Bully doesn't. Since Bully
Right.
didn't believe the original reality, we asserted it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and that was the thing, and this is where it just becomes a universal, and I think it is a universal idea, is that just because people tell you that it is impossible, like you can do anything, and if it's you who believe that there is something in the way, that's what's getting in the way. Like there's a comedic a quote from an old Jason Alexander show. And he's like, and he's a motivational speaker. And he says, the only thing standing between you and your dreams is you and your dreams. And what that says in satire, I say with conviction, it's like, the thing is that if you think you can do it, it doesn't matter what people are going to say to you or what people are going to criticize. Just keep going and keep doing it. Like, if that's what you want, and who cares if you fail at it, at least you failed trying at something. And then when Bolik doesn't accept it, that's when it's like, fine, if you don't want this at all, then it's gone. And that's what I really like about this. And that is again, I think that speaks to not only personal perseverance, but also it's like, if you say that you are going to be the perpetual victim in everything, then you will find a way. Hey, there you go. There's a Guinan quote. If you find a way that you're going to die tomorrow, you can probably find a way to make it happen. And that's what happens here. It's like, if you don't do it, then nobody else is going to do it for you unless it's Henry making wishes.
Well, that and also, I think that probably if he didn't punch the wall, he would have won on his own.
Oh, yeah. He lost the fight before the fight started. But thanks, Henry. Yeah. But I think that there are so many allegorical sort of storytelling things at play that are really inspiring. Like, I think this is great. I think this is so good.
Yeah, and Bully goes home again. Now the neighborhood is disappointed, but even still, Henry is proud of his friend. But unfortunately, this is the heartbreaking part: is that Henry swears off wishing and all of this, and Bully tells him that there may still be magic. It's just there aren't enough people to believe it. And it was Bully's pessimism that possibly made Henry grow up too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the closing narration.
Yes, and then the closing narration is here it is. There's a bridge there. You might not be able to see it because it's kind of dark.
But good work,
There's your closing narration. Oh wait, that's not it.
Henry Scott.
Weird.
Who's Henry Scott?
He's I think he's the jerk.
It's not important.
Yeah, he's he's Thomas, the jerk, I think. Let me see.
Oh, okay.
Or wait, what? Let's see.
You want me to read one?
Henry Scott played Thomas.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, read.
Mr. Boley Jackson, 183 pounds, who left a second chance lying in a heap on a rosin-spattered canvas at St. Nick's Arena. Mr. Boley Jackson, who shared the most common ailment of all men, the strange and perverse disinclination to believe in a miracle, the kind of miracle to come from the mind of a little boy, perhaps only to be found in the Twilight Zone. That's why I love this episode. Fuck you for growing up. Sorry about the swear on a Tuesday, but that's what I'm saying. Is that as long as a wish is a dream your heart makes, come on. This is such a silver lining. And even at the end when Boley is saying, you know what, Henry, maybe I was wrong. Like that's why I like this one so much, is because it is looking for the future and acknowledging your own foibles and shortcomings because you just didn't have the hope that you needed.
Yes, and essentially everything in my notes was everything you already said, so good work.
Damn it. I'm sorry, Jill. This is why I shouldn't plagiarize.
You didn't plagiarize. That's exactly what it's about. It's about not even when things are tough, when you think, oh, reality asserts this one thing and this is the only thing that can happen.
This episode was amazing, and I
It's
thought
not always true.
Yeah, they let you kind of fill in the blanks in a lot of places, and you can make your own. On most episodes, you can do that. That's what I love about this show so much. This series.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's a little bit like a Kellogg's mixer pack. Every 6 episodes, you're going to get a different box of cereal. It's great.
And that's what's so good about it.
And then there's that one kind of cereal that the kids, nobody likes, that they don't eat it. Nobody eats it.
Yeah.
Greek letters Larson's.
I'm looking at you, Honey Nut Cheerios.
Oh no, those are fine. You just have to add extra sugar.
Get off my lawn. No, get away with your stupid little Cheerios. Go.
Twix.
Go.
Twix.
You mean Trix?
No, I couldn't eat Trix. My father.
Well, because they're for kids.
I'd grab
Silly
a box
rabbit.
of cereal he'd like, put that down or I'll break your arm.
No.
You couldn't have sugary cereal?
No
Oh,
Captain
wow.
Crunch. It was either, and then when we put sugar on it, my father would put it on. It would be not even a half a teaspoon. And if I didn't like it, I'd sit there all day until it was eaten. I grew up in a military family, so I didn't really listen. I did what I was told. I went wild when I was 16, but that's another story.
Oh yeah, when you're sheltered, that does happen. That does tend to happen.
That's what
Greek
got me in the army. That's why I went in the army.
Greek letters Larson said, "We all had dreams and hopes as children. Then life happened, and our dreams shattered and burned. And here's the motivational statement of the day." But I think the moral of the story is that you don't have to give up on them. Maybe they change. Maybe you do have to change them based on reality, but you don't have to lose it all. So I guess if I think I'm old, I will be old. So I gotta think young. Think young. Yeah, exactly.
Age is a state of mind.
Oh yes, it feels like that would be a great moment for Canadian Spider-Man to show up. He loves that argument. You're only as old as you feel. He definitely lives that. And yes, I love this episode. It's very good. But we're gonna move on to my daughter wanted me to cut out a box that's in the shape of a heart. Sorry about that. I didn't mean for that to be in there. just an artifact of motherhood there. And so we're moving on to a nice place to visit. A Nice Place to Visit first aired on March 18th, 1960. It was directed by John Bram and written by Charles Beaumont. So we had a Charles Beaumont episode, written the story by and teleplay written by. And we're first taken into a loan company store that seems to be locked up. And as we go inside it, we see that somebody is robbing it. And we also see someone. What? Were you whispering?
He's breaking and entering. He's broken in.
Oh, yeah. He broke in and, yeah, he entered and he's robbing. And also, there's someone's passed out in the background. So we can assume the robber either knocked them out or might have even hurt him even worse. Possibly even killed him. We don't know for sure. And so he's collecting as much as he can, how much jewelry that people have put in for their loans that they have pawned for money. And then we get started with the first half of our opening narration, and I think I need Jedi Master 2022 to read it.
Okay, I got it. Portrait of a man at work. The only work he's ever done. The only work he knows. His name is Henry Francis Valentine, but he calls himself Rocky because that's the way his life has been. Rocky and perilous, an uphill and a dead run all the way. He's tired now, tired of running or wanting, of waiting, of the breaks that come to others, but never to him, never to Rocky Valentine.
Right. And we see the end of that tale for him. Rocky hears the sirens and he begins to try to escape. And before we continue with the story, as he's trying to get over this fence, Rocky is played by Larry Blyden. Although Mickey Rooney was the first choice to play him. Charles Beaumont. Okay. This is where I don't agree with Mark Scott Zickery. He thinks this is Charles Beaumont's weakest episode. And he said to Serling, I've had an absolutely screwball idea. Your first reaction will be one of dumb astonishment, followed by rapid blinking and phantoms. Phantods? Phantods. Okay, so I have to know what a phantod is. Phantod. A state or attack of uneasiness or unreasonableness. Okay, that's phantod. If for any reason we can't get Mickey Rooney for The Other Place, which was the script's original title, why don't you essay the role of Rocky yourself? Dumb astonishment, rapid blinking, phantods. When I mentioned it to Helen, she said, swell. Now he'll think you consider him the cheap crook type. I chuffed her lightly about the ears, explaining that if I know writers, it's a good bet old Rod has the same secret ambition I do, to wit, to act. We're all hams in our own ways. Each of us planning to write himself into a part someday. Is it not so? My opinion is that it would be a lot of fun all around. If you can indeed act, you'd be keen in the role, and that's the publicity. The publicity would be unbad. But Serling decided not to do that. Obviously, he's not Rocky in this episode, and he instead cast Larry Blyden. And Mark Scott Zickery thinks that the performance was not very good, and that he comes off, quote, like a third-rate composite of James Cagney, Edward G. Robertson, and George Raft. And so I guess that's why I don't have as much of a honed perception as Mark Scott Zickery, because I don't really know those actors so well. So
well, he's a caricature.
Edward G. Robinson was Dathan in in Ten Commandments, and he was almost going to be Dr. Zaius in Planet of the Apes. He did, but the makeup and stuff and his age got to him, so they cast, of course, the other gentleman. Just a tidbit about Edward G. Robinson.
Yes, and apparently this Larry Blyden seems to be a caricature of that actor. And so that's Mark Scott Secret's opinion. But he runs down the alley, having dropped the jewelry he was stealing. But the police warn him that if he doesn't stop, they will shoot. And so they do. And then he dies.
And then, that's the end of the episode.
And that's the end of the episode, everybody. No. Please read the second half.
The moral of the story is the crime doesn't pay.
Well, could you please read the second half of the opening narration, Jedi Master?
Okay. A scared, angry little man. He thinks it's all over now, but he's wrong. For Rocky Valentine, it's just the beginning.
Yes, I mean, he starts off this episode. He doesn't know he's dead. The audience does, because they just saw police riddle him with bullets. And so you
I like how they referred to the cops as screw. Sorry for talking over you. The cops as screw. He goes, didn't he call them screws? The cops?
Yeah.
He was calling them. Yeah, back then, that vernacular that they used.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. French.
Doesn't he look like Mr. French?
It is Sebastian Cabot.
Well, his name in this episode is Pip. And he says he's Rocky's guide. And so we think he looks, the audience will think, oh, he looks kind of like a guardian angel. And Rocky says he doesn't like games. He doesn't want Pip to play games. But Pip knows the truth. He's got notes, he says. He's got notes that he likes games. Wait, where are those notes? What kind of games did he like? Oh, yeah. Why, you like roulette, blackjack, poker, craps. In between the ages of 7 and 10, you were quite fond of mumble tea peg, which is something I had never heard of. It looks like you just throw a stick in the grass, but I don't really get it. Let's see.
What, you've never played hoop and stick?
Hoop and stick? Oh.
Yeah. You
take a hula hoop and a stick.
And stick, and you push the hoop with the stick. Old-timey.
No, this one doesn't even have a hoop.
No, I know. I'm just saying, old-timey games that you see children play. What about jacks? You ever played jacks?
Yes, I played jack.
Have you played jacks? I've never played jacks. I've had it.
Not seriously. Not seriously, but yeah, I tossed a ball and picked up jacks. Bounced.
We used to play marbles.
It just looks like they're just throwing a stick in the ground. But okay.
I had a bag of marbles. I lost them.
Anyway, before we go further, I want to mention.
Thank you, Jedi Master.
So Sebastian Pip is played by Sebastian Cabot, and so Cabot he had black hair, so he had to color his hair white,
which apparently is very difficult to do.
Yeah,
he's less portly. He's not as portly as he was as Mr. French on The Family Affair.
There's a quote about it, coloring his hair. It's very hard to whiten hair. What they usually use is a thin zinc oxide, and it looks like thin zinc oxide. It's bad. And yet this fellow had to have white hair. Oh, this is Buck Houghton, the producer. It really made a big difference. And what they do to really make it white is they bleach it. And it ain't very good for your hair. We really had to talk Sebastian into doing it, because then he had to be white-haired for 3 months until it grew out. That was a major task to get him to do that. Wow, yeah. So he made a sacrifice as an actor to do this role. to be white haired for several months.
Well, and I think it's a great aesthetic choice because, white is usually attributed to virtue and goodness. And so I do like, I like it.
That's a good
like
facade.
It. Yeah, it's a subversion of what you would expect, especially because he's so gracious and kindly to this foul-mouthed cretin.
Right. He just wants to help Rocky. And Rocky tries to rob Pip, who's just like, okay, you just want some money? Here's $700. Adjusted for inflation from 1960 to 2025, $700 is $7,623.12.
That's going rate for his soul, I guess. Actually, he didn't sell his soul. He was always content.
He already lost it. He already lost it before. He lost it the day he was 6 years old and killed a puppy. But we'll get to that.
He didn't kill a puppy. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
This has
he did.
An analogy of another show I watched on Netflix. The Good Place.
Oh, yeah. Familiar? Oh, yeah.
This has a definite analogy to that movie, to that series.
Oh, what makes you say that? And what about that?
Because
series?
we ain't got there yet, and I don't want to spoil it.
So okay. Bring it back up when, tell me when we get there. James Caserta said, I would not be unhappy there. He likes this apartment. All right. Greek Letters Larson says, you mean he put chlorine? No, not chlorine. Bleach, not chlorine.
See, and this is a thing that, anyway, we're getting ahead because I think this is one of those episodes of the Twilight Zone that everyone has seen or at least is aware of it. It's a fairly simple premise. This is one of those episodes that is all right, let's just wait for the twist. We've already done something dramatic in the opening, and then we'll wait to see how the comeuppance happens. But I still like it, and with the ham-fisted acting of Rocky, I do enjoy Pip. I enjoy Mr. Pip as a performance and everything. I think that if you were to watch this original broadcast, or if you're watching it for the first time, it's like, so I don't what is going on? But then again, other people smarter than me have said that this is predictable. I like this episode. I like this.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm not allowed to say the one that I compare it to because I do it all the time. So, but I like this episode, even though it does seem like I'm waiting for an O. Henry.
Well, and that one has an underlying message too. So you've got to see the broader story behind the twist, besides just judging it based on it. So yeah. Okay, so here we go. Pip shows Rocky where he's going to stay. It's a very fancy apartment with portraits of pretty ladies. Rocky can't believe his luck. So Pip proves to him that it's his apartment. It's got your name on it. And I like how you can still see the bullet holes in his shirt through though his body appears unharmed. He was shot from behind, so the holes are in the front. That means he was riddled with those bullets.
Yeah.
And Rocky still doesn't believe it and wants to know what the catch is. But he's still being so rudely antagonistic. They do everything to show you just how awful this Rocky guy is. He's being so abrasive, very confrontational, very demanding, very on the edge of violence.
Well, he's a baby. And
yeah,
I don't
he
think
never grew up.
Yeah. I want. I have no reason to give anything back.
That's a great way to put it. He's a eternal toddler, just wanting what he wants, and he tries to get it, and that's why he became a thief.
Don't you get it? I'm right. I'm the one who wants the things. Don't you tell me what I know. This is a monkey's paw. And it's like, okay, just chill. But, and it's not until after he has a shave and a haircut, 2 bits.
Yeah, right. Pip is patient with him. Rocky picks out some clothes and he gets clean into a new outfit. that fit him completely perfectly. And he also sees a sitting room and a dining room with a dinner already on the table, probably of his favorite foods.
And he thinks that the poison.
Yeah, that's right. Rocky's still suspicious of all this. He thinks it's too good to be true. So he asks Pip to taste it, but Pip says he hasn't eaten in hundreds of years. And since Pip won't taste test the food, Rocky shoots him.
Now, this is interesting. And this is something that I appreciate about the direction of this episode, is because it's 1960. They're still using blanks, and they still use blanks now. But there's a little trick of the camera in the perspective where it looks like he's aiming at Pip, but in the actual production, he's aiming off to the right. He's not actually pointing it directly at the actor, but it looks like he
that
is.
Would make
so
sense
that there's still the muzzle flash and things like that. And I just saw something recently talking about the first season of Fargo, and they were going to digitally insert muzzle flashes into a scene where a character gets shot. And one of the actors said, I don't want it to be CGI. There's something about the scene and the reality of it between the two actors that makes it a little bit more convincing and true to have a real blank and the real recoil and the real smell of the smoke and gunpowder, as it were. And the thing is that it's a matter of ordnance, safety, and handling, and knowing what you're doing. Like, it looks like it's pointing straight at him, but because of the framing of the shot, it obviously isn't, because we don't want to accidentally Alec Baldwin anything. So,
I was going to say that.
Yes, I could understand you were explaining to shoot slightly off, just so that no accidents ever occur. And that makes
or Brandon Lee, for that matter. Yeah. Well, and you know where I'm coming from, but I do think
part of
that
safety.
is.
Yes, I did.
And nowadays, and I think you mentioned it earlier, Jedi Master, is that there is something to the reality. And at this point, even the CGI that would be used to do such an effect, if you wanted to aim the gun directly at the actor and then CGI a muzzle flash and do bad smoke after the fact, like, you can do it practically with older techniques, as long as if you're deft enough at it. Like, if you know how to stage it and you know how to ensure safety, and you can still achieve the same effect for $5 as opposed to overworking 100 CGI artists for a week. And
plus, you also get better effects you get better reactions from your actors.
Practical special effects is so amazing. That's what made Star Wars and all those great 2001 and all those movies so great. They could incorporate the technology of the prevailing technology of the time and make something so good without overdoing it. Like, I'm not trying to stray, but Avatar is a perfect example of a lack of mixing both. They use way too much CGI in Avatar,
but I think
that's another story for another day.
Well, but that's also a technological evolution, revolution, experiment. I'm not a fan of Avatar simply because I've seen it once and I had no reason to go and revisit it. But like, with
good choice, it was the second one's the same movie.
Yeah, well, and I'm not gonna. I have nothing against it. I just have no interest in it.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's like, this is the same. I saw this. Now there's family.
Oh, it's all about family. But I like this, as Jedi Master said, like the way that they did it before, and this is on a budget. Obviously, this isn't a movie. This is churned out under a deadline, and it's like, so how do we do it? Even the effect of shooting the lamp. I think that if you wanted to get like 5 more lamps and be like, can we time that explosion a little, or can we time the destruction of the lamp a little better? Like, of course they could have, but they didn't have the money to do
They
so.
had to shoot the lamp because Rocky couldn't understand why he couldn't take down Pip. So he had to take something down to show that he still had a good shot or that the gun was working.
Yes. And there still has to be something that makes it believable. Although this is where Rocky should have sort of realized, no, attempted murder is not condoned in heaven, sir.
Yeah, no, he doesn't seem to. He hasn't changed one bit in his afterlife. Even realizing he's dead, he assumes he's in heaven. And given the care, grace, and patience Pip has shown him, that's understandable. He thinks that. Of course, everybody knows this episode. How these episodes have to have the twist to prove what's next. And so Rocky understands he can have anything he wants. He asks for $1 million and a lady. And he gets that, and he showers himself in the money. And then, then the record player plays, and the beautiful lady appears to dance with him, and he's very happy. He looks so happy.
This is where Riker would say, I don't need your fantasy women.
Well, he doesn't realize it's all fake. He doesn't know he's in the next yet. You don't have any money? What did they pay you? In halos or something?
Now he's at the crap table.
Yes.
No, the
yes.
Roulette. Excuse me. Is this roulette? Yeah, roulette.
Yeah, it's roulette, and he keeps winning. But at this point, he's very excited about it.
And this is where I'm going to get the analogy of the Good Place soon. This is
okay. Just give me 1 second.
Well, he wins 40,000. He wins 40,000 K, and I love those days where you could easily turn your money right into gold. He's like, turn this into gold. Oh, Brogu's got to go.
Yes, that's what I was going for.
Brogu says, gotta go. Enjoy the rest of your stream. Enjoy the rest of your week. And always remember, this is the way. Brogu out. Mic drop. Cool glasses.
And Greek Letters says, practical effects are superior to CGI in every respect, especially in acting. Yeah. Depends. I think that they're all tools. And some can convey the reality of fiction better than others. But I think they just have to be applied properly. And yeah. Anyway.
And so anyway, we get a cameo of the slot machine from the episode The Fever that we saw recently.
Yeah.
So this is that
I thought it was the same one.
Yeah, it's the same one. And so of course here also he wins big. And he's so happy. He's still happy. He even clicks his heels up in the air.
You don't see enough people doing that these days.
No, I know, and it's a very difficult thing to figure out how to do. So
it's okay. I've never. Maybe I'm just very dexterous.
Yeah. Well, maybe I can do it. I don't do it often, like you said. Maybe I can do it. I'm gonna go try it later. Somehow the police officer who was taller than him before, like he gets upset that this police officer is taller than him and he's scolding him. So then he comes back and now he's a short fry. Suddenly.
A what now? A short fry? It's small fry or short guy.
I can combine any words that I wish on my channel.
You can do whatever you want, lady. I'm sorry for yelling. By the way, interesting side note, that was Peter Dinklage.
No, it wasn't.
Not only is he slight in stature, but he's also incredibly old.
Yeah, he's aged really extremely well. He's
I don't know.
apparently a vampire.
Yeah, okay.
Somehow he lost his height, and the car arrives to pick him up, and
Well, and
now he wants to invite his friends, but Pip says you can't do that. This world is only for you. And this is where he starts to realize nothing is real. The ladies are fake. Everything's fake.
it's the Nexus.
It's the Nexus, like I said. Yeah,
They're in the Nexus. No, well,
that's
this
exactly
is
what
where
I said.
we get into the part where I get my analogy when he finally figures this.
This is the Hall of Records,
Mm-hmm.
and so the reason we're here is because Rocky says there must have been something real good I'd done sometime, something that made up for everything else, huh? Yeah, that's it. He's having trouble figuring out what that was. And so what did he do that was good? So he decides to visit the Hall of Records to see. And so
Well, and this is also the point where I was like, okay, so he's a criminal. I get it. He's a small-time hood.
Not just well, they only go through a few years. He's not even 10 years old, and he's killed a small dog, and
now
yeah, he stole toys from a dime store. He organized a street gang, ironically called the Angels.
But this is I know it's a minor quibble on my part. He
and broke into a bicycle store. Yeah, he did.
Didn't kill a dog. He slaughtered, and I thought that was an interesting choice of words in terms of the characterization of Rocky. And it's not like killed a dog at the age of 7, and I was like,
6.
okay, that would have been 6, and I'm like, okay, that would have been, but it's like slaughtered a dog. And so it's not that just that he like killed it. Slaughtered implies something a little bit more visceral, more nefarious. And so that choice of word was like, oh, F this guy.
Pure evil.
Yeah.
Incarnate.
Mm-hmm. Killing small animals at a young age is the first sign of being a serial killer.
A sociopath.
That's true.
So that I was just like, okay, so
that's
this
a good
guy,
point. He was premeditated murder.
Yeah. This guy deserves. Oh, it's like Squire of Gothos, where it's like the wine has no flavor, the fire has no heat. That's where Rocky is now, and so I'm glad that he's bored and without satisfaction.
Yes, that's right. And from this moment, he realizes he has done nothing good. Like he flips through the records after that, and he's like, okay, never mind. There's nothing good here. And so he puts it back, and he goes back to the casino to try to play some more, but reality has hit him that he just keeps winning no matter what. And all the girls are excited about it, but he's growing bored. And he just leaves his winnings there. And why not? He's got $1 million on the floor of his apartment anyway.
Yeah. In fact, it's probably still back in the drawer. Someone else cleaned it up for him, so he doesn't have to deal with the consequences of his misdeeds, misactions.
Yeah, and then he's gonna open it again, and it's gonna fly in the air, and this time it's just gonna drown in the misery of fake money that means nothing. And he waves away. He even does that here, waving away the dollar coins. I've never seen anybody do that with the slot machine before. It's like, what's this? What? As if it's just vomit coming out of the slot machine.
Just trash. I've got enough of it.
Yeah, there it is.
And also his clothes get fancier and fancier because he thinks that the material goods will make him happier, and they ultimately don't. He has a new rotation of malls. Like he's got new bitches every day.
Yeah, and he's got multiple. Like at first he was happy with one, now he's got 3.
She's got a harem.
And it's when you can have
tired of the dames.
Yeah. Like and obviously because it's 1960, the more lewd aspects, although they do sort of infer it when you see the train of the 3 girls the first time, and I got to go talk to Mr. Pip or Fats, and he's looking at them and he's eyeing them up and down, and it's like, oh, ogling, and yeah, so and everyone's all happy to like. This is something I don't know. This is of course, it took a month for him to realize that no one actually appreciates him. They're made to appreciate him, except for Pip, who is there.
Yes,
to
and so
eternity.
he chases all of them out because they're not providing any excitement either.
And
as nice as they are.
Yes, squites.
Hence the good place analogy, where this is his torture, this is his hell.
Mm-hmm.
This is the analogy where they're being tortured. Mr. Pip is torturing this guy through pleasure and all the needs and desires, because he thinks he's in heaven. But
he was even going to get mad at the apple. He was eating an apple, and then
which is a great little nod. Of course, there's an apple, and then this is the final. This is the straw that breaks the camel's back, because I would be pissed, especially if you're playing with yourself. No pun intended. But like,
you can never
play.
Sit there, there's no game.
There's no game. Nope. If you break and everything sinks, you don't even get the pleasure of missing a shot or trying to get better. It's just you're already good at everything. Don't worry about it.
Cue. Then he snaps the pool cue. Like, I've had it.
Yeah. He calls Pip, and then we have. There's no excitement around here, and he's upset at winning everything. And then he's like, well, okay, maybe Pip says, maybe you miss your old vocation. Do you want to rob a bank? And so Pip says, yeah, sure, let's do that. But wait a minute, how do I make sure there's going to be a chance that I get caught, right? And Pip says, sure, I'll make a note of that. So it's going to be very manufactured. It's going to be a fake kind of danger that's not going to be real. It's like the Nexus. This is the point where I wanted to mention where Captain Kirk is not happy because he jumps over. What is it? It just is like a trench
or ravine.
Yeah, that he does every time. And he was always very scared of it because of the danger. But in the Nexus, he wasn't afraid of it because it wasn't real. And it's the same kind of thing here. And then we got some dialogue. Who wants to be Rocky?
Jedi Master, you be Rocky, I'll be Pip. Is that okay?
You got it. Okay, Mick.
Okay, so this is going to take a minute. Just take a quick minute here. He's got a lot of dialogue here.
Who does? Rocky?
Rocky does.
Yeah. All right. The lion's share. Thank you, Master.
Come on. Sit down. Fats, sit down. Now, look. I don't know how to explain this, but it just ain't the same.
No, I know. You gotta give it a second.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No. It's not because of that. You just have to be deft on the scrolling because you got to go. If there's a lot of dialogue, then you got to keep up. You got
it all in there now. You should be good.
Work the
sorry, I had to.
I get this trash truck outside my house. Is it? Are you guys hearing it?
Can't hear it.
Not at all. You've got a great microphone.
Okay, great. Come on, sit down, Fats. Sit down. Now, look. I don't know how to explain this, but it just ain't the same thing. What's the kick in knocking off a bank if everybody knows about it, huh? And the dames. I never thought I would get bored with beautiful dames. But look, I wouldn't expect an angel to understand this. See? But being a big guy with a chick, I don't mean anything. It don't mean anything if it is all set up in advance. And I mean everything is great here. See? Really great. It's just the way I always imagined it, except that just between you and me, facts, I don't think I belong here. I don't think I fit in.
Oh, nonsense. Of course you do.
No, I mean it. Just somebody must have goofed. If I gotta stay here another day, I'm gonna go nuts. Look. I don't belong in heaven. See, I want to go to the other place.
Heaven? Whatever gave you the idea you were in heaven, Mr. Valentine? This is the other place. And scene.
Now bring me Jody and Buffy.
And the closing narration.
You do it, Jill. Or not. Whatever.
A scared, angry little man who never got a break. Now he has everything he's ever wanted. And he's going to have to live with it for eternity in the Twilight Zone.
Dun, 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 dun.
Absolutely delightful.
I'd have to flip a coin between
That
episodes.
Hmm?
What was that, Jedi?
I'd have to flip a coin to determine which episode I really like better because they were both
Oh,
fit.
right. Directed by John Bram.
I like the first one better because I think that there is something about keeping hope and dreams alive. I
Yes,
like
the
that
first one
better.
is more optimistic, even though it has the Twilight Zone ending of that's heartbreaking, but it still the message is good. Is goodness.
I think it's more ambiguous at the end of the first one. And this one's just like, I present to you an asshole. This asshole will pay.
Written by Charles Beaumont. Well, and that's the difference between Charles Beaumont's writing and Rod Serling's, who is a lot more humanity focused. So his story, it has a lot more soul and heart. And this one,
But also, this is
one
episode.
it has a different kind of message.
But this
which,
is
of
this
course,
is also sorry.
Which of course I've got the Star Trek quote that I think aligns with this episode from Amok Time.
After a time, you may find that having is not so pleasing a thing after all as wanting. It is not logical, but it is often true.
Yeah, there was echo on that.
After a time, you may find that having is not so pleasing a thing after all as wanting. It is not logical, but it is often true.
But given that it is episode 28, I think that this is because it was written by not Rod Serling. Other people sort of looked at it the way that I've been looking at it, sort of naively, or, oh, I get the formula. It's an O. Henry story. They're all O. Henry stories, and that's what you're waiting for. But that's not necessarily true, as evidenced with The Big Tall Wish, is that it's not about sometimes, and I think that it's becoming a little bit more varied with the stories that we've been watching over the last couple of weeks, is, yeah, the O. Henry can be good if it's punchy and it's good, but it's not necessarily just an O. Henry. It is something about these characters that you meet for only half an hour once a week when they either discover or are punished or rewarded for whatever their character is. That's what the story is about. It's not just about turning the tables on somebody at the end of the episode, but turning the tables at the audience at the end of the episode. And so when A Nice Place to Visit comes around, you're like, how did this jerk get into heaven? And then it's like, he's not in heaven. And everyone goes, ooh. But there is the opposite of selfishness is when Bowley is given what he wanted. And he's like, I just don't believe that I got it. I don't believe it. And it's like, you got to, Bowley. You got to believe it or it'll never happen. And then it's like, he didn't believe it. It never happened. But Bowley's not like tantruming about the fact that he didn't win. It's that he was given back the reality that is present, and then he is changed by Henry to learn to believe in hope a little bit more. Whereas you got Rocky, who's just cursed to deal with gratification and satisfaction for all of eternity, and he's going to get bored with it.
Instant gratification.
I know.
Yep. He didn't earn it.
And it is. I think it's a good episode. I think it's somewhat prophetic in an age of instant gratification. There's something that's really rad, and I'm sure that all the people who are collectors of a certain age, whatever your collecting is, there's a certain gratification in actually having to go out and find something, like going on a quest. I have to go to this comic book store, or I have to go to this movie store, or I have to go to this whatever your desire is.
The chase.
You have to do it, as opposed to nowadays you just jump on the internet, punch in what you want, and then wait 7 to 12 business days, and it'll be dropped off on your front doorstep. And it's like, I get everything I always want. Like, it's just a matter of money. I'm just trading money for the instant button push of thank you for the Pez. And I think that is very prophetic for its time. And that's the age that we're living in now. I enjoy getting the double disc of Supergirl, but if I could get it instantly, which I did, it's like, would I even buy it if I knew I had to drive 45 minutes to go and pick it up and bring it back? It's like, nah, I don't need Supergirl that bad. But
it really took him a while to realize he was in a trap.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. It takes a month, 6 to 8 weeks of shipping.
Yeah.
Anyway, excuse me for just one moment.
But since we're mortal, we can be entertained by movies and stuff like that. But for him, it's going to be torture. He's created his own torture, and I think it's also because he's so vain, he's so single-minded that he's not creative enough to make his afterlife interesting.
Nope. And that's why he's being trapped into that, you could say, a state of purgatory or whatever, or in hell. But the torture isn't fire and brimstone. It's more like, just here it is. You wanted it. You got it. Now you're gonna just stay like this.
You said it was like another story. Did you?
Yeah, The Good Place.
The Good Place.
Well,
What is Good Place?
Yes, it's on Netflix, and it's about these people that they die and go to heaven, and they're in hell, and this guy that's torturing them, which is played by Ted Danson. And he when it starts out when they're sitting there. That would be a great series to review. It's funny beyond all hysteric. It's hysterically funny and frustrating the way the story goes. But they don't know that they're in hell, and they think they've lived these great. And one person that ends up there, she knows she shouldn't be there because she's lived a really bad life, but they don't all realize they've all been bad in their own ways. Now, there was one guy that was about an ethics writer, and he was like he could never make a decision, indecisive, and he ended up dying. He couldn't even decide things, and he couldn't commit, and because ethics, if I do this, he couldn't eat a certain food, and he ended up in hell for that. And another woman was in competition about, raising money and being known and reaching all heights and being friends with celebrities. And they're all in hell. And there's two people that don't belong there. They're there. And it's just a made up, just like city, and Ted Danson's torturing them. And so they torture each other. He uses these people. He pairs them together to annoy one another. Like you get your soulmate, and they're complete opposites. And it's just hilarious. And how Ted Danson just conjures up all these ways of torturing them. And it goes on for 4 seasons. And in this movie...
Wow, 4 seasons. So they turned one Twilight Zone episode into 4 seasons of a TV show.
It's amazing. It's literal. I love it from beginning to end, and I think you'd enjoy if if it doesn't become convoluted for you. I think you'd really enjoy it, Jill. And I don't know if Scotty's away, but it's something you might want to watch. And they're like 25-minute episodes too on
I
Netflix.
appreciate the recommendation on Netflix.
Yep, it's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite sitcoms. Me and my wife watched it. During the sit there and we would binge
StreamYard
watch
did
that all long.
The StreamYard knocked you out. I brought you back. Sorry about that. But you binge watched it with. Oh, okay.
Me and my wife
really
love
nice.
that show. Yeah, that I watch The Last
Awesome.
Kingdom, stuff like that. I watch a lot of those, and I like Queen of the South. I have an eclectic kind. I like a lot of things.
Important to find things to watch together. I got to do that more with my husband.
Yeah, me and her, we have our compromise. We watch the WWE. I know some people laugh, like, you watch that fake stuff, but that's our soap opera together. We have that's our thing. She likes going to Comic-Con shows with me. She loved, meeting the cast of Lost in Space and going to do those things. And we support, we compromise. Like her soap operas and stuff, that's where I don't dip my feet in. There's a certain shows that she has, and she enjoys me doing this. She thinks this is good for me.
Yeah.
So
awesome. And James Caserta says The Other Place, the original title, was the better title. That's his opinion. And yeah, it's a good title. I think they're both good. But I like A Nice Place to Visit because that's what I said about California when I visited for my honeymoon. That was a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there.
I've been there twice. I didn't like it. Fort just a desert and then I went back and I didn't like it.
Of course. When did you go?
I was in. I'm really gonna have to tell you guys. 1985.
Never mind. Oh,
1985.
I mean, you didn't like it. I went in 2011. I enjoyed. It had really good environment, atmosphere, but I wouldn't go today.
Mojave Desert's not a fun place to go.
Oh, okay. I went to San Francisco and LA, so.
I spent 30 days in the Mojave Desert fighting a fake Russian army. Well, the OP4 and all that. It was war games, and we were in chemical suits in 100-something degree weather. And
so not for vacation.
Yeah, it was torture.
Yikes! So you went there for training, military training, not for fun.
Summer, yeah, desert training. Yeah, I've never been there for like a fun trip, and I don't know if I'd like California. It
was good to visit, but yeah, I don't want to stay there, and it was especially because you'd listen to the news and there'd be crazy things going on. Like it was during Christmas. It was kind of during Christmas time, or before Christmas, and there was apparently some parade somewhere with people who were completely naked except for Santa hats, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, it's a bit.
And so,
much.
California is really weird.
Oh, I like to see the Walk of Fame and all that stuff.
Yeah, I saw all that. That was good. The Chinese theater.
What was
it? Yeah, that stuff.
John Carpenter recently got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and one of the things that he said was like, "And now I will be immortalized where dogs and people can pee on me."
Yeah, well, that'll be. Oh, and people will drop their gum on you too.
Yeah.
Preview for the next story. Okay, so let's get the previews done before we continue.
Heck yes.
Previews for next week's story. Next week, you'll spend a rather few unforgettable hours in this living room. You don't get to see the living room. Watching Miss Janice Rule and Mr. Shepard Strudwick partake in a dramatic delicacy that is one part nursery rhyme, one part terror. This is designed for those of you who are getting too much sleep. Next week on the Twilight Zone, Nightmare as a Child. We hope you'll join us. Also next week, this old-fashioned railroad car is about as extinct as the dinosaur. But next week, it takes us to a little village that is not only a place, but a state of mind. It's a transportation to what we think is one of the most unique stories we've ever presented. Next week, Mr. James Daly stars in A Stop at Willoughby. We
Stop
hope
it.
you'll stop with him. Thank you. And so
I'm
that'll
looking
be
forward
next
to it.
week. Yeah, that's a classic one, that last one.
Apparently, I forget who it was, but someone in the chat early on said, "I'd love to be a part of," or maybe it was on X. Said, "I'd love to
Yeah, it was on
join
X.
Willoughby."
Yes, that'll be Jacob Ironside. He wants to join us next week.
Hooray!
Speaking of the chat, however, we do have a poll.
And the survey says,
And it says, which episode do you like more? The big oh my gosh. With 10 votes, it's 50-50. There's that's pretty fair enough.
I said it was
Based
a coin
on-
toss.
That is the definition of a coin toss right there. A single coin toss is 50-50. And well, that's the poll. And just so that I actually have the poll and don't forget it later, I'm going to end it now. And so there we go. That's our poll. It was a tie. I think that's well deserved. Great episodes. Greek Letters Larson has his comedy ending. Okay. Show's over, folks. Tune in next week for a trip to the Mojave and a pit stop at Vegas for a bit of fun.
Sapexibus the Exadia.
Oh, it's so funny.
Play dice.
I just recently had my television die, and so I got a more modern television. And so one of the things, you got to watch a movie. You got to, check out and see what the DVDs and the Blu-rays do. And you got to check out and see where your streaming services are at and see what it looks like. But I was very pleasantly surprised. I checked out Fallout New Vegas and hot diggity. What a vibrant beiges and browns. But I just wanted to play Fallout on a new TV, and it is amazing. The game was rigged all along. Great, loved it.
Well, I don't game much. I see you guys play games like some night. I popped in the other night. Jill, you guys were playing. What game was that you guys were all playing?
That was the original Fallout. That's the original. It's so fun. Yeah.
I don't know how to play games really since Super Nintendo. I don't think I've gamed since we had a Wii briefly. Me and my wife had a Wii, and we had like Donkey Kong and stuff like that. That's about my limits of gaming in The Legend of Zelda as far as I've gone. I see all these new games. It's insane.
Legend of Zelda, that is good. Yeah, you got to get the Triforce in that first one there. Yeah. I love that game. But I actually played the Ocarina of Time first on the 64 before I went backwards and played the first one. But Zelda is a favorite of mine.
My stepson's into gaming big time. He's got like PS4, 5, whatever they got now, and he plays all these games with he's just killing things, and so it's pretty interesting.
I bet he's an expert.
There's in the last place that I lived, there was a guy who was my neighbor, and I was playing Fallout and on a Xbox, so one of the Bethesda ones. And he came downstairs, and a pack of like dogs was attacking me. And I shot the dogs, and he's like, "Is this a game where you just shoot dogs?" And I was like, "Well, they're one of them. Sometimes wild animals attack you." And he's like, "I don't want any part of this Satanism." And I was like, "Okay, calm. Well, hey, they're irradiated. They've been alive for 100 years."
And they attacked you. They were
exactly.
It's not like you went out of your way to go slaughter dogs, as we mentioned,
and I had dog meat. Yeah, I had dog
True.
meat as one of my companions, and Snoopy was sleeping on a beanbag couch. It's not like I wanted, you know what one of my hobbies is? Destroying quadrupeds.
Yeah.
James says Jedi's kid is slaughtering dogs virtually.
Although, isn't there a perk where you could be like a Doolittle and just be able to not hurt any animals?
Oh yeah, friend to the animals.
So yeah, so you could have told him about that. You could play through however you want. I've seen people do entirely pacifist run throughs where they don't kill anybody at all. I don't know how that. It's pretty incredible.
And Greek letters brings up an interesting point. It's like, and you can shoot people in Fallout. It's like no one cares about the people. Greek letters.
No,
one
nobody cares
if you're
about the
shooting
people. They're that's fine. It's just when you start
It's
hurting
the
the animals
dogs.
that everybody hates.
Like when you start thinking about John Wick, it's like they killed his dog, and so he murdered hundreds of people. It's like,
Oh yeah,
yeah, but I
that was
get
the
it
last
because he
gift
killed
from
his
his wife.
dog.
Yeah, the last gift from his wife, and the last thing to remember her by, and then that's it.
He still had the little video on his
Mhm.
iPod or whatever.
You can't pet a video.
No.
Well,
No.
all right. I'm not going to pursue
No.
that on a Tuesday afternoon.
No, don't. I didn't realize what I was doing.
Yeah, no,
I'm
fair
like-
enough.
I'm like I'd throw myself in front of a moving car to protect an animal. That's how I am with dogs. And I used to moose and deer hunt. Now that was like for food and stuff when I lived up north. But I don't even think I could hunt unless I necessarily needed to now at this point in my life. And that's how I look at it. I like those games, some of those games with the military games and stuff, and I don't really like watching those games, and it's just my own, because being in the military, and I see them in a different view. That's all, and I'm to each his own, and I love, I like watching people game and stuff, but me myself, I don't think I could do that. I'm not good, it's just not me. I'm not a gamer.
Fair enough. Well, and also, like, and that's the thing, is that I hadn't played in a while, and I wanted to test it out on the new TV. But before that, I had always thought about firing up the Xbox, and I was like, so what am I going to do for the next 2.5 hours? And in the back of my brain, there would be some sort of weird little Jiminy Cricket being like, you're literally just going to twiddle your thumbs. That's all this is twiddling your thumbs. But, there's no such thing as wasted time if you enjoyed the time that you spent.
That's true. And we always find different ways to spend the rest of our day. And I guess maybe that's what we need to do now, is figure out what we want to do with the rest of our day, because we've finished our Twilight Zone episodes. And so I want to thank you, Scotty R37 and Jedi Master 2022 for hanging out.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me again.
Talking about these cool episodes. And I'm really privileged to be able to keep exploring these episodes, learning more about them. And that's the main goal, is to get to know exactly why these episodes work so well. And I think we figured out quite a bit today.
Mm-hmm.
You guys
And
are good
also,
people, and I enjoy hanging out.
Thanks, man. I like hanging out with you too. It's a good time.
You guys are fun.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would like to, or is there anything I would like to?
Well, you go first.
All right. Typically, you can find me on the Phantasmagorium. We're currently going through the Mission Impossible movies, looking to go towards Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Something that myself and my co-creator, co-host, co-producer, Steve, he hasn't seen all of the Mission Impossibles. I haven't seen all the Mission Impossibles. Kat is there. She's seen every movie twice. And Ernesto, who is very, very knowledgeable and just as opinionated as I am. But we're doing that on the Phantasmagorium. You want to find me and that's on Thursdays. On Wednesdays, I hang out with Cinema Gulp. But this Wednesday, we're taking it off. We're taking the Wednesday off. So if you would like to watch us at Cinema Gulp live on Hump Day Happy Hour, just wait longer. We'll be back next week. But if you are curious about what Cinema Gulp does, their edited content and live streams are super fantastic. So I would recommend that. Obviously, I get to hang out with Jill a lot, and I want to thank everybody who pushed me over the edge. I have 201 followers on X. I know it's a pittance. I don't care. I'm happy with my hill of beans. And by next week, I assume that I'll be back down to 198 followers.
Congratulations. It doesn't matter that it's a low number. It's a milestone for you.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Exactly.
I have more DVDs than X followers, but that's fine.
Well,
you've got a lot of DVDs. That's nice.
I do.
Then you're a winner.
So, big winner.
Alrighty then. Well, I've broken 50 subscribers this week. I know it's not saying much, but for being at it for a short time, I think I'm getting there. And now
That's
that
great.
I've got all my stuff in to do my live screens, my green screen arrived the other day, and I have my new machine, and I got rid of that piece of crap laptop that I thought I was going to be able to jimmy rig with all the adapters, and I just went out and sent that back and got this beautiful machine here. And I will be able to start doing the Monday night shows. You said after 8 o'clock is good for you, Scotty. I would look forward to, if possible, you could join me when we do the Lost in Space discussions.
No, I'm not. No, I can't do Lost in Space.
Okay.
No, that's going to be me and Stone Racket and possibly PvP.
Whoever you want to bring in, Jill, bring in, the more the merrier. And I'm going to have some guests lined up, some people, like I said, friends of mine from some of my Facebook groups. And I'm even announcing what we're doing here for the Twilight Zone to try to expand your base and bring more people in. And I tell them what we're doing over here on Facebook and some of my Lost in Space groups. And I'm trying to attract, and I have a friend that I'm going to bring on eventually once he's feeling better. He does an impeccable Dr. Smith. In fact, if you look at Miracle in Space, yeah, go ahead.
No, that's great. I haven't heard an amazing.
He does an impersonation. He almost looks like a good god, and he's got his own tunic. He's literally, and so you can find me at my site. Like, subscribe. I put up this finished the Hungry Sea episode, season 1, episode 4, and that's a slideshow with some music accompaniment. And it's a very dark episode, and I'm going to learn to clean up my clips better before I make my slideshows as my page evolves. So please come by, check me out, and if you like what I have to share and what I'm putting up, please subscribe. And if it's not for you, I understand too, because it's Lost in Space is like an acquired taste for a lot of people. But we're going to talk about more than just Lost in Space. Classic sci-fi shows and going back to Land of the Giants. We're going to go over that and Time Tunnel and all that good stuff. And just come and see me. We'll have a good time.
Sounds great. It sounds great.
All that classic sci-fi.
I don't mean to be a poo-poo about Lost in Space, but it's not my brand of vodka. So
I totally understand, and like I said, it's got a big following. You wouldn't believe the people that are in these groups, but it's a cult following. It's a very culty type of cliquey type of family that I belong to on Facebook with these groups. I mean, the Mark Goddard Appreciation Society itself has got thousands. I mean, we're like a family. I mean, when we do the meetups, and it was like it's like your family. Anyways, I've talked too much.
No, that's it. You've got your friends, your people, and everything, and that's really great that we can bring that kind of convention atmosphere to YouTube, so we don't always have to Go out to do it. Although it is good to get out also.
That is such a good way to put it, Jill, in terms of a convention. And that's where I am. It's like if there's a Lord of the Rings convention, why would I go to the Lord of the Rings convention? I'm not even a fan. And same deal. I have nothing against it's just not for me. And please, if you dig it,
I love it. There's nothing ever going to stop me from loving it.
Play in it like it's a ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh. Wait till I get going on episodes.
There's some serious sci-fi in that first season. This is going to be fun.
Oh, season 1's great. And the only thing I need help with, and I'm going to ask some of you guys, like with your videos, your entry videos and stuff. I know I need a subscription to StreamYard to do that, and I'm working on that too. But as soon I need to learn how to like make short, funny video clips from Lost in Space. I want to have like some insults go back and forth with the robot, and if just some funny stuff, and like you show those funny videos. I don't know how to do that kind of.
Well, I got a video editor, so you got to find your favorite video editor. I think there are free ones. What's the free one that Tony uses, Scotty? I forget.
I don't know.
I'll have to ask.
Tony's got his hands full.
Windows.
No. It's just a question. It's just a question. What app he uses? He uses the.
I thought it was like the Windows. Like it. I think it starts with Windows. Like it is. Yeah. It is the onboard video editor.
The onboard video editor.
Yeah,
Clipchamp. That's it.
Clips.
Thank you. It's called Clipchamp.
Let me write this down.
So download that, and you should be able to make some clips of all the things you want.
Now, do you do that from DVDs? Like I could pop in a DVD in my burner and run it through that thing, and then like segment out what I want and cut it.
You'd have to burn. You have to burn the DVD first. And
upload it to the machine.
Yeah, you need to get it to. You need to get the file from it. Okay. Unless you have a video capture card or something.
I'll figure out something. I'll figure that out. Yes. So I basically upload the DVD to my laptop. I mean my computer, and then go through the file. Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, you need some DVD burning software, and get it into a format that you can edit.
Oh, okay, I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
you can probably, and you may be able to clip it from the DVD. I don't know. I've never done it before, so I'm just speculating.
Well, if you screen, the only way I see you could do that is if you screen record, and then clip it from that screen record.
That makes more sense than burning the entire thing to your or like ripping it to your hard drive. But whatever you want. Yeah, and the thing, and as long, and this is something that I advocate wholeheartedly. You can talk about stuff you don't like, but champion the things that you do, because don't be mean. There's never any reason to be mean.
I had that up because I need to say hi. Did I say hi to the Comic Relief Crusader? Hello.
Not yet.
He's got a show in less than an hour at the top of the hour. Yeah, usually he has a show on Tuesdays.
Titillating.
Will Jill ever hit 1701? Right, that's my next milestone. I want to reach 1701. That'll be so much fun, and somebody will win a Diamond Select tricorder if that happens. But we're still waiting. Where can we find Scotty R37? He needs to start a YouTube radio station that streams 24 hours a day. Get advertisers, find BJs, not that kind, the MTV kind.
Old Man Bird, you are nothing but a support for me, and you inspire me to attempt that at some point. The only thing getting between me and my dreams is me and my dreams. Just tying it back. Yes. We're going full circle.
Oh, and not just Clipchamp, but it doesn't have Lost in Space, but there's a website I use sometimes to get clips. They're not always the greatest clips. They get cut off a bit, but it saves some time. It's called getyarn.io, and it's a little finicky, but but when it works, it helps a lot. If she starts going on camera, she'll be there in a month. This old man bird thinks. Oh, that's the problem. I don't want to do that. But thank you. Okay, that's all for this time in the Twilight Zone. Thanks again for everyone being amazing and insightful and taking the time out of your day to be here and to learn about the Twilight Zone and see what we can add to the story. And so I hope to see you again next Tuesday in the Twilight Zone.
Yay.
See you next Tuesday.
Learn all that is learnable. And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.
We don't have to be mean. Because, remember, no matter where you go, there you are.